This video is about self-improvement, the type of video which I wish that I would have come across back when I was 16 years old. It would have acted as a guide in times of self-doubt, in times when I was not feeling that good about myself. My only goal by the end of this video is to motivate you and help you start your self-improvement journey, or at least try and make you think of self-improvement. But first, I want to talk about my journey, which is a work in progress and forever will be a work in progress. One thing we should understand is that everything is a skill, and guess what? Skills are learnable as long as you are willing to learn them. If someone's forcing you to do something, I can say without a doubt that after a point of time, you will stop. And that force can either be a person who is forcing you to do something, like how my mom used to force me to go to the gym with her, and back then I absolutely hated it. Or the force can even be a circumstance, like someone who is studying for an exam is very likely to stop studying the day that the exam gets over. But when it comes to self-improvement, it is a lifelong journey which can be practiced by anyone at any stage of life. Chapter 1. Getting started. At the age of 16, I had gone through a phase of putting on a lot of weight and subsequently losing it too. I actually didn't lose weight, I just looked like I lost weight because I grew taller and the fat kind of got distributed evenly. But nonetheless, I wasn't the most confident and I did have a lot of insecurities. But all that slowly started to change as soon as I started working out at the age of 16. April 1st, 2016 was my first day at the gym. I went along with a couple of my friends, and at the time I couldn't even have imagined what it would turn out to be, but I just went with the flow. Which also brings me to a quote by Naval Ravikant, which is, be impatient when it comes to actions, but be patient when it comes to results. If you really want to do something, don't think too much about it and just do it. But at the same time, once it's done, just take a step back and be patient with the results, because results do take time. The quote also talks about the importance of taking action, because nothing ever happens if you make the perfect plan and don't execute it. Even having the slightest of action or taking the slightest of action is always way better than having the boldest of intentions. So for the 16-year-old me, what that meant was just going to the gym and paying the fees for 3 months, not even knowing whether I would like it or not even knowing whether I would be consistent or not. And 5.5 years later, here I am. Chapter 2. A healthy body. The self-improvement journey of almost everybody that I know starts by working on the outside, starts by working on your physical body. And there's a reason why that is. You can physically measure the results of your hard work, the results of the amount of time and the effort that you have put in. And guess what? Others can see it too. And this creates this sort of positive feedback loop. Let's just say that you got complimented based on how you look, which gives you the motivation to work harder for the reason on which you got the compliment for. And based on which you'll work harder and you'll get more compliments, and that cycle will go on and on until you become a sexy beast. And now, since I've hopefully convinced you on why you should work out, let's just talk about the how you should go about it for both guys and girls. If your objective as a guy has ever been to look lean and muscular, and your objective as a girl has been to look more toned, the one thing that you can absolutely do is to build more muscle mass. Having extra muscle mass will help you reach your goal. And the best way to build more muscle is through resistance training and by using weights. And because of the exercise that you are doing, it gives your muscle a stimulus to grow, and over time it will get bigger and stronger. The general rule of thumb is to focus on getting stronger at the compound exercises. Compound exercises are those exercises which require more than one muscle in order to be performed. The compound exercises that I focus on are the squats, the overhead press, and the weighted dips. And honestly, on my first day at the gym, I couldn't even lift the bar, yet alone think of adding weights. You also have to be aware of the fact that genetics too have a huge role to play. On the first day at the gym, the friends that I had joined with were way stronger than me. But at the same time, after the summer vacation got over, they kind of stopped. But I was still consistent because in my mind I was like, I want to get stronger than them. And over time, that habit has stuck with me. And as of right now, I'm like way stronger than them. But always know that there will be people who put in half the work and get double the results. And there will also be people who put in double the work or double the effort and get half the results. That's just how it is. Just last week, when I was at the gym, one guy comes up to me and he's like, dude, you're so strong. You are almost the strongest person in the gym. But at the same time, why do you not look that buff? The old Vivek would have been upset about it because he was still butthurt about the fact that he doesn't have the best genetics in order to build muscle. But this is the new Vivek. And instead of being upset or feeling bad, I make a YouTube video out of it. So if you're new to the channel, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button in order to become a part of the community. No, but seriously, I'm pretty happy. Happy when I compare where I came from to where I am now. And honestly, that's all that matters. Because constantly comparing ourselves to others is just going to set ourselves up for disappointment. The other thing you can do, or other thing that I do, is that I just compare myself to the past version of me. And if I've done slightly better or I'm slightly better, I would consider that as a win. Chapter 3, Mindset Shift. After a while of seeing physical and measurable results, you will slowly start to see a mental shift, a change in mindset. And overall, you'll be in a better state of mind. And when you're in that state of mind, you are also open to new ideas, open to new learning. And that's also when I started wanting to learn more. And as a result, started to read more books. And as of right now, listen to audiobooks. I went from a person who never really liked reading books all that much to really liking to listen to audiobooks. And I try and listen to an audiobook or listen to my audiobook whenever I get the time. Whether that is while doing the dishes or sometimes even listen to it in the shower instead of music. I'm not gonna lie, initially it did feel kind of pretentious. But after I got through the initial barrier, over a period of time, I've come to a point where I really enjoy it now. Chapter 4, Act on your motivation. The reason why you get started doesn't really matter. If you're a person who goes to the gym so that you can impress that guy or a girl, or you're the person who likes to read so that you like sounding smart in front of your friends, it really doesn't matter as long as you get started. You can always use all that as short-term motivation, but at the same time, the most important step is to do something about it and take action based on that motivation. And in your mind, though you might be competing to be better than your friend, just know that it's a very personal journey and it's a single player game compared to the multiplayer game that we are so used to playing. The multiplayer game that adults play are games where they compare themselves to others based on the amount of money that they make, based on how successful they are, how famous they are, and all of that, which are all multiplayer games. Self-improvement is a single player game where you have to work on your physical body and also work on your mind, which is like a monkey that swings from vine to vine, and it's so hard to control, and trying to control it is a job altogether in and of itself. Like, your mind can make you feel happy, your mind can make you feel sad. There's a whole universe inside us. So we need to take time in order to spend time on ourselves and work on ourselves. Taking those baby steps may not look very cool, and in reality, it can look pretty boring. But at the end of the day, the only person that you have to impress is the man in the mirror. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon whom you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts the most is the one staring back from the glass. You may fool the whole world and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartache and tears if you have cheated the man in the glass.